This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Grant Smith, trainer of world champions out of the Steel City Gym in Sheffield. Grant, how you doing? Nice to see you.
I'm doing very well, Rob. Nearly fight time and been a bit draining this week, the last few weeks, but we're all good. If not for you hunting me down non-stop in hotel and making my life a misery.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that I have been harassing Grant. Stalking Grant, however you want to put it. Yeah, you're not somebody who craves the limelight in all seriousness. You are very much somebody who likes to put your fighters first and foremost. You're not somebody who hogs the limelight or the attention. I think that's fair to say.
That'd be hard with Sonny Edwards anyway, wouldn't it? No, I've always said from day one, I'm not in it for that. I just want to train my fighters and that's it, and get them to be the best they can be, and that's all I want to do. I'm not interested in anything else. I'd rather just be in my gym, quiet, happy home life, nice and quiet, and just plod along in my own little world.
I know that because when I was at Steel City Gym about 4 or 5 weeks ago, as soon as I whipped the camera out, you were like the old coyote just flew away, roadrunner style, outside of the gym, and I never saw you after that.
Dogs needed walking, didn't they? Priorities. My dogs needed their exercise.
That's fair enough. I do appreciate your time today. Obviously, it's fight day for your son Dalton. We'll talk about him shortly. So let's go back a few weeks. You claimed your second world champion with Sonny Edwards. Absolute masterclass performance against Moruti Mthalane. Talk to me about the fight. Some night there.
Brilliant night. I thought it was dog shit, actually. No, brilliant performance. We've always known Sonny's had that in him. And he's got all his critics, and I think he'll always have his critics when he steps up to this level. Like Sonny's explained on numerous things, he'll never done out as a pro, he'll never gone out, he can't punch hard enough, he'll get stopped, he's not strong, he can't do it at top level, and every time he just kept proving everybody wrong. I've known from day one what he can do, and like you say, he's only going to get better anyway as he matures. He's late at maturing, and he's going to get better. And a lot thought, it's a big shock. Everybody thought we were going to get stopped. We were going to get walked down. He couldn't keep it up for 12. But I knew what was coming. I had all the confidence in Sonny Edwards.
As I mentioned, he's your second world champion after Charlie Edwards, of course, his brother, your first world champion that went over Christopher Rosales. But you've been with Sonny for a long time. Obviously, Sonny was training with you initially as an amateur, spent a long time with you up there in Sheffield. I'm not going to say, is it any sweeter than Charlie? Obviously, two completely different situations, but must be a great sense of accomplishment and achievement taking somebody like Sonny from the amateurs right the way through to world champion.
It were good, obviously. Charlie's were a brilliant night. Sonny's was a brilliant night. But with Sonny, when Sonny come to me, when he was younger as an amateur, he'd boxed for England, he'd won all his national titles, but a few England coaches and a few said to me, you'll not do nothing with him, when he was moving up from London. Because he approached me and Charlie Charlie was first to approach me, actually, sorry. Charlie was first to approach me, would you be interested in, you've known our Sonny since a kid, would you be interested? I said, yeah, tell him to give me a call and we'll look up. And everybody found out, and then it was like, he won't do this, he won't do that. England says he won't box for us as he gets older because the style's all wrong. And I got a bit of bee in my bonnet. And Sonny come, I explained, and Sonny will tell you, for the first few months he had it hard in the gym. He openly admitted to me, I nearly quit. I nearly walked out because it was too hard. But now he realises why I did what I had to do, and all these little adjustments. And he went out there, he won the ABAs, then GB had him on, which England weren't even bothered about him then. Then he was GB, and then he went to his first tournament for GB. Boxed, I think he was two-time Olympian, he were world champion, and he got his injury, so he didn't go to qualifiers, so that buggered him up. So he's had it tough, Sonny. People don't realise, and he's had to keep battling back, and he's just stuck with it. The bond me and Sonny has got is, I've been on phone to him today, we're laid in bed with his kids, and his kids are shouting me, Grant, and I'm messing with his kids this morning, and that's just through FaceTime, and we've got a good bond, me and Sonny, so he's very special. But for everybody to write him off like that and say he won't do it, he's proved everybody wrong, and I'm proud of him for that.
You make an interesting point there. It's something that I've heard from other trainers that I've spoken to in the past, Shane McGuigan being one of them, when he took on Anthony Fowler. He said that, when people say that, he's not going to do something, or it gives you that kind of bit between your teeth as a trainer, which is what you've just said there.
Yeah, and you just try to prove people wrong. I've always said from day one, I know why people do certain things, but I just like to stay in the background. I'm not into all that. I just want to train my fighters, that's all I'm bothered about. And when people see my fighters doing well and they can see the adjustments, and that makes me proud. It's like John Doherty got writ off. He's a very good fighter. I've known John since he was young, and John's come on leaps and bounds, and I just can't wait to get John Dock out again and let everybody see what John Dock can do now.
Going back to Sonny Edwards against Moruti, obviously we saw on the night the game plan was quite clear, offset him moving around the ring. One of the things that I wanted to discuss with you really is Sonny's been kind of calling out everybody around British level and above for the last few years, but he's not been able to get those fights. Was there ever any concerns, anything in the back of your mind about him jumping from kind of British level right to, Moruti Mthalane is not just a regular run-of-the-mill world champion, he's an elite level world champion. Any concerns about that initial jump?
No concerns. Sonny weren't concerned, I weren't concerned. I know what Sonny can do. Sonny knows what he can do. Everybody in the gym knows. I know sparring, it's totally different from fight night, and it is a big jump from British to European, European to world. It is a big jump. Them world-class fighters are very, very good, but everybody knows in our gym Sonny's very, very good. But the one thing about Sonny and me, you can ask some of the guys that work with me, the promoters and everything, if I think it's a winnable fight, we'll take it. I know a lot of people don't want to do it and they take different routes. They want the right fights at the right time, which I understand, but they'd rather take these options. We're not bothered. If that option come up, Sonny, we're going to take it no matter who it were. We weren't bothered about that. As long as the pay's right, and we'll just take it. And Sonny would said that. Sonny will fight anybody.
Anything on the night surprise you? Was it easier, more difficult than you'd expected going into it?
I knew it was going to be difficult, and I could see certain things with Sonny's legs, his expressions, what nobody else saw, and they won't recognise, and I did. And I said to Sonny after the fight, I says, that's took a lot out of you mentally and physically, more than you understand. I says, you're on a high at the minute. I says, and I don't know whether the cameras, like you say, I don't go onto the cameras, but I kept running backwards and forwards, making him some hydration drinks, taking him back, and then you could see my arms coming through, and so I knew that took a lot out of him. And then next morning he went, oh, it feels like I've been run over with a bus. I says, but it's not just the physical side, it's your mental side to stay that focus for 12 rounds against somebody who, like you say, he's a massive puncher.
Talk to me about about in between rounds. I was very, very impressed with the cornering that you did with Charlie Edwards when he boxed Christopher Rosales, and likewise with Sonny Edwards against Moruti Mthalane. Striking that balance between giving technical advice, what to do in the fight, but also not reading the riot act, but that motivational side. I know that you were referencing his sons, Chance and Bobby. Talk to me about that in the fight and the cornering that you were doing for Sonny against Moruti.
My fighters know I'll call little codes, and because they spend a lot of time, which most fighters do with the coaches anyway, but they get a lot of one-on-one. I'll say something and they know what I mean before the sentences come out, because what we say and the game plan and the little situations. And like Sonny said after, he says, I knew what you were going to say. As soon as you started saying something, I know what you're going to say, 'cause as Bond is that good. But what were the rest of the question again, sir?
And mentioning to him, and particularly in those later rounds when he is getting tired and when you can see that finish line in sight, mentioning his sons' names and giving him that kind of motivation.
I could tell the last few rounds he were getting mentally tired, and his legs were tired, and he were getting mentally tired. And I saw Moruti just shutting the gap a little bit more at the end. And we'd worked on a game plan and little situations. We'd got a few more tricks up his sleeve, but they didn't have to play them out on the night. But Sonny knew what I was going to say, so I said this little thing. It opened his footwork up a little bit, and I think he come out the last round. But I gave him his information, and just as before I was sending him back out, I just said, reminded about his sons, and that just perked him up a little bit, because I knew it would perk him up, perk his feet up, and I thought that he won that last round.
Now, as I've discovered this week, and we've mentioned previously, you are a stubborn Yorkshireman. You don't give too much away. You're very no-nonsense. As I said, you don't like to hog the limelight. But I remember when the clapper went in the last round, those 15 seconds to go, we could hear you in the corner. We could see what it really meant to you, as we did when the decision was read out. What did it mean to you to go through that period of time with Sonny and know that he was right there at the end for that world title?
Them last 10, 15 seconds felt like about 4 rounds long. I'm like, how long's this going to end? I'm like, Sonny. Then he dropped his hands and started showboating. I'm like, oh no, please, Sonny, don't get chin now. But it was brilliant. The lad has worked so hard. Like you say, he started on the small old shows. He's not just been signed to a promoter straight away, a big promoter. He's not been on the big show straight away. He's earned it. And he's earned it the hard way. And ask anybody in the gym. He's in the gym, he's always on time, he never skips anything, he does it right. Barring his food, but he's smartened his food up, he's acted up a little bit for this. And I'm so chuffed for him, Like you say, he's on a roll now, he's just got to keep it going. And like I always said to my lads, I just hope you earn as much money as you can and get out of it with as much as you can, and you live a good, healthy life once your careers are finished. Then we've all done his job properly, and he's on that path now. And he's 3/4 of the way there now. He's nearly there now. So yeah.
Now, I had Sonny on the podcast, on the Boxing Social podcast, available now. Please go and check it out. Always have to plug the podcast when I mention it. I had him, I think, last Monday. And he said that obviously he's got Jason Mammer, I think is his mandatory that's coming up. But the name that he keeps talking about, he keeps banging the drum, is that Julio Cesar Martinez fight. What a fight that would be.
That would be a brilliant fight. Obviously, two totally different styles. They're not just going to meet head to head. It's whoever gets the game plan right. Martinez has got to do his stuff good, or Sonny's got to do his stuff good. And if they're both good on the night, it's going to be a very close fight. But I tip my man, he's not going to be in with somebody like Sonny. But as Sonny being in with somebody with power like that, maybe so with Moruti, you never know. So, but yeah, that's the fight Sonny wants. Everybody's avoiding him. We're not just doing it for everything, because he'd probably still get paid same with boxing somebody else way down the list. But Sonny wants the big fights. Like he says, he's not bothered. He says, if I lose, I'm still at the top. I'll stay at the top and I'll keep fighting the top fighters, which I think is a good attitude.
And also has the inbuilt storyline of course, Charlie Edwards against Julio Cesar Martinez, a couple of years ago now. Does that kind of give you a little bit of added motivation? Obviously, the fight was ruled a no contest in the end, but from Charlie's own admission and Sonny's own admission, it was in everything but the result, it was a loss really for Charlie that night. Does that kind of give you that added little bit of motivation as a trainer?
Obviously, like you say, it went down as a no contest, but it does give me a second bite at cherry. Yeah. And obviously, I've done my own work on him as well, so he's quite fresh in my mind. And it gives me another go at it, and I'm confident with Sonny, very confident with Sonny. Don't get me wrong, the power that Martinez brings is destructive. It is very. I take my hat off to JRS. He stuck in there. He put a brilliant performance on. So yeah, I'm hoping we do get Martinez, to tell you the truth. So I'm sure Sonny will be calling that out soon. So I'm going to say, if it doesn't happen, get ready, Eddie, because Sonny will be calling you all out.
Yeah, Sonny's already given me the brief what to say to Eddie when I eventually catch up with Eddie this week. Moving on, we are of course here for your son Dalton Smith, fights for the English title against Smith-Appleyard. How's he been looking in preparation?
He's been looking very good in preparation. Very good. I know it's the old cliche, everybody has a good camp, but he has had a good camp. First time he's made this weight. Like you said, we've all been joking, lowest he's weighed for 6 years since he boxed at 60 kilos, because obviously amateurs were 64. Like you say, Scott Robinson, Reece Silver, they've all done a brilliant job. He's been eating non-stop. It's been put out on social media how much he's been eating. Yeah, he's done brilliant. So we're hoping for a good night. Show his skills, put a good boxing performance on tonight. But take my hat off to Lee. We're not underestimating Lee, don't worry about that. Smith-Appleyard is a very, very good fighter. They all say, but he's lost before. He's been at the lower weights. You've seen his frame. He's too big for super featherweight. He's too big for lightweight. This is his proper weight. He's admitted it. This is his proper weight, and he looks in tremendous shape for it.
Now, I was down at McGuigan's gym before Christmas and was privileged to see Dalton in sparring with Luke Campbell. How beneficial is it to get that world-class sparring in with somebody who, I mean, Luke Campbell, Olympic gold medalist, he's kind of one of the more unfortunate non-world champions we've seen in the sport across the last decade or so. How beneficial is that for Dalton at this stage of his career?
Very beneficial. I'd just like to say Luke Campbell's an outstanding person, athlete, boxer, and he deserves a world title. He's at that level. He should be a world champion. He's that good. He is very good, and I like Luke personally as well. He's a genuine nice guy. But that type of sparring, it's brilliant. He's sparred Robbie Davis recently. Like I said, Luke, Lewis Ritson, Avanesian. The list goes on. And obviously, and there's a lot more he's sparred, but that's learned him a lot. He learns a lot from that, and we've just been talking. We'd like him to go abroad for sparring and get some different styles of sparring. But I think we'll learn a lot tonight. I think he's going to get chin checked tonight, and he's going to have to dig in certain parts, and he's going to have to show certain things tonight, and he'll learn certain things tonight, and hopefully we'll come out on top and he puts a good performance on.
Final one on Dalton. It's something that I always like to bring up with him whenever I speak to him. Obviously, my life is pretty much spent on social media, the nature of my job. Getting a lot of praise from both sides of the Atlantic, which is quite uncommon for somebody at Dalton's stage of his career. As I mentioned, he's about to box for the English title. It's not, American boxing fans alike. They don't really pay much attention to the UK boxing scene until they're at a certain level. But Dalton is somebody who's piqued the interest of a lot of people on that side of the Atlantic, which must be great for you to see.
Yeah, I appreciate it. For his last couple of fights, his last 2 or 3 fights actually, I've had messages from America, Mexico even, in Spanish. And like you said, the Ring magazine put that thing out on him earlier this week. And it's nice for him to be getting recognised and from over the water like that. And when they're getting on to me personally and saying nice things to me, it's a compliment. And I'm very proud of him, very, very proud of him.
Okay, well, Grant Smith, thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social. I'm glad I harassed you and stalked you and forced you into doing the interview because it's always great to catch up with you. Congratulations on your second world champion. Hopefully many more to come, I'm sure there will be. And yes, we look forward to catching up with you sometime soon. Maybe we can get one after the fight, 2 in one day, Grant.
You're stalking me, you're wearing me down, you. I'm going to end up at doctors, mate. You're making me poorly, chasing me down non-stop. I've been hiding in my room for 4 days and checking door. I've opened the door like that, looking down corridors. I've even been messaging lads, fetch me some tea up, fetch me some breakfast up. Rob's sat waiting for me on corridor. But no, it's a pleasure, mate.
Thank you very much, Grant. Always a pleasure to catch up with you. Congratulations again, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
Thank you. Bye.